Hello, my name is Shawn McFarlin. The title of my research study is The Tie That Binds, a multiple case study that explores the ways in which parents perceive their involvement in their special education children's formal school experiences. In this presentation, I will talk about my problem and purpose statements, my one research question, the literature review, the theoretical framework that I chose, my methodology, my findings, and implications and recommendations. I'll also talk about the distribution plan, and references will be included at the end of my presentation. A lack of parental involvement exists among special education parents, despite parental involvement's positive effects on a child's educational experience. Nationwide, there are approximately 7 million students who receive special education services. In Texas, there are about 150,000 middle school students who receive special education services. Unfortunately, many of the parents experience barriers to their involvement in their students' educational experience. This leads me to my problem statement. Too few parents whose children qualify for special education services involve themselves in their child's formal education experiences, resulting in less than optimal student educational outcomes. In this qualitative multiple case study, I explored parents in Texas' perceptions about their involvement in their special education middle school child's formal educational experiences at school. These parents had at least one child who was diagnosed with a disability and received special education services. These parent experiences can inform school personnel or staff to help decrease the barriers that prevent parental involvement in their child's educational experience. This leads me to my research question. What are parents' perceptions about their involvement in their special education middle school child's formal educational experiences at school, specifically regarding Epstein's 6 types of involvement? In my literature review, I sought to better understand these 4 topics: defining special education, a brief history of disability and education in the United States, the impacts of parent involvement on children's educational experiences, and barriers to parent involvement. In special education, there are 13 special education eligibilities that the state decides on and chooses, as well as once a child meets special education criteria or eligibility, they can receive specialized instruction as well as accommodations. Historically, educational policies have sought to increase parent involvement. Such policies include the No Child Left Behind Act, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 2004, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975, as well as Every Student Succeeds Act. These educational policies help with topics such as free and appropriate public education, measuring academic achievement, as well as individual education programs. I also included 5 monumental court cases such as Brown versus Board of Education, which helped improve special education law. As far as the impacts of parent involvement on children's education experiences, positive effects of the parent involvement include academic achievement, self-regulation, mental health, physical benefits, as well as improved cognition. There's also positive effects for parents due to their involvement in their child's educational experience. These positives include positives such as increased self-worth, autonomy, social capital, and potential decreases in things such as stress and anxiety. Barriers to parental involvement include special education document readability, unfamiliar with the special education process, communication barriers, technology barriers, parent socioeconomic status, culture differences, as well as professional development on parent involvement for educators. This leads me to my theoretical framework. For my theoretical framework, I chose Epstein's 6 types of involvement. Epstein categorized relationships in 3 spheres: family, community, and school. In addition to the three spheres, Epstein also identified 6 types of involvement: parenting, communicating, volunteering, learning at home, decision-making, and collaborating with the community. This framework is non-categorical as well as non-chronological. Parenting consists of supporting, nurturing, rearing a child's development, and establishing a home with a positive learning climate. Communicating consists of relating, reviewing, and rewarding a child's educational progress between parents and schools. Volunteering is organizing, supervising, and fostering help for a child in their home and school. Learning at home includes parents assisting their child with learning how to plan, make decisions, and complete homework. Decision-making includes contributing, considering, and judging school information about their child to make informed decisions. And collaboration with the community consists of utilizing, sharing, and giving resources to benefit a child's education and family. For my research design, I chose a qualitative multiple case study. Rather than selecting a single site for this study, I recruited 6 participants from a specific population, with each participant representing a different case. I used criterion-based purposeful sampling maximum variation to select the 6 participants. The 6 parents had a child who received special education services in various parts of Texas. Once I gained IRB approval, I started my data collection process. My data collection process consists of 3 forms: individual interviews, journal reflections, and a focus group interview. The individual interview as well as the focus group interview lasted about an hour each, and I did them via Zoom. The journal reflections I distributed via Qualtrics. I then organize, explore the data received from the participants, as well as organize the data into apiary codes, categories, and themes. After the themes developed, I conducted a cross-case analysis that compared the themes across the cases. To the overview of my findings. There were 6 findings. Finding 1 was parents explain their willingness to do what it takes, regardless of parenting style, to get the unique educational support their child needs. Finding 2, parents reported that effective communication helps build relationships with school personnel. Finding 3, parents agreed that volunteering fosters relationships at school and in the community. Finding 4, parents explained that learning at home is dependent on the adaptability to outside influences. Finding 5, parents agreed that barriers exist that make it difficult for parents to be involved with their child's education at school. Finding 6, parents explained that access to resources influences parental involvement at school. 4 findings developed within the apiary framework. In finding 1, parents provided experiences in which they advocated for the child's individual education program. They also talked about making important, vital, complex decisions related to their child's education in areas such as school of choice and education policies. For finding 2, parents emphasized the importance of emailing, talking by phone, in-person dialogue to have successful communication. Parents also emphasized the important role that two-way communication has building relationships with school staff, school personnel. Finding 3, parents reported experiences with volunteering in various roles and capacities such as lunch duty, within the classroom setting. Parents noted that when they fostered relationships through their volunteering, experienced feelings of increased positive self-worth. For finding 4, parents talked about their difficulties or their experiences with teaching their child at home during COVID-19. Parents also noted their use of technologies such as iPads and online learning to help with their child's learning at home. 2 of the findings developed outside of the a priori framework. For finding 5, parents reported struggles with understanding the special education processes, special education jargon, and terminology. They even noted that they themselves, parents and their children, were barriers themselves to their involvement. For finding 6, parents noted or reported an annual income of $100,000 or more. The parents' socioeconomic status as well as annual income were attributed to their increased access to school resources as well as educational resources in general to help with their child's educational experience. Noted additional access to social media, online education, iPads that supported their child's educational learning. Next are the implications and recommendations from the study. Findings, implications, and recommendations highlight the importance of parental involvement in a child's educational experience. The implications and recommendations also highlight the vital role that school district administrators, campus administrators, teachers, community leaders, and parents play in the role of parental involvement and helping a child's educational experience. Obviously, if they're not doing so already, school district administrators can provide additional support, consider policy changes to increase teachers and staff's continuing education and professional development, establish expectations for school personnel to respond to parent communication, such as email or phone calls. Campus administrators can improve communication between school staff and parents, increase their knowledge about the special education processes, and aspire to create campuses where all parents feel welcome and invited. Teachers can design classroom systems to communicate with students and parents, involve parents in the learning process or volunteer in their classrooms, respond promptly to parent communication emails, and stay abreast of special education procedures and processes. Community leaders can visit local schools to learn ways their businesses could become sponsors of school events and school activities. Community leaders can advocate for programs that involve special education students, and parents can meet their children's teachers to establish a working relationship, become knowledgeable about special education processes, and advocate for their children, and attend ARDs and ask questions. My distribution plan consists of presenting at leadership conferences, publishing in journals, presenting at PTO meetings, parent-teacher organization meetings, presenting at leadership conferences across various school districts in the state of Texas, and present at various Chamber of Commerce meetings within cities across the state of Texas. To conclude, here are my references.